Happy Easter, everybody, at least by the time of the recording of this video. Or if I upload this video the day after Easter or the few days later, happy belated Easter to everyone watching this. But as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail of this video, it's gonna be a bit of a concerning and a bit of an interesting one. Now, the Monster Energy drink company that makes Monster Energy drinks, when it comes to them owning a certain word, tend to get a bit strict and a bit like, no, you can't say that or use that word. They get defensive, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They get defensive whenever they see other companies use their word monster in their title or whatever. And Monster Energy Drink Company is been filing trademarks against like gaming companies for using the word monster, because Monster Energy Drink thinks they own the word monster, but in reality, people have been calling out this company time and time again, saying, well, yeah, well, what about all these other titles? Like, what about all these other names? Like, you can't physically own a word, but the Monster Energy Drink Company thinks that they own that word and they can file trademarks because they think they own that word, and they think anyone who says that word or uses it in like a product like Monster Hunter Rise, which is what you're seeing gameplay of right now, is it will confuse people. The way that Monster Energy Drink sees this is they see, like, if anyone says monster, they're gonna get confused. Like, oh, if someone plays Monster Hunter Rise, like, will they think of the energy drink Monster Energy Drink? Or if they say the word monster, when they think of Monster Energy Drink or like monsters in general, like, if you ask me personally, this is honestly so freaking stupid, and I think that anybody with a brain can clearly see that this is just a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of hoopla that the Monster Energy Drink Company's doing. When I think of the word monster, I immediately think of like a monster that has tentacles on its back, something like Slenderman, or I think of a monster that has big meaty claws that like forms like ice blades on its horn or like its hand. Or when I think of a monster, I immediately think of like arms growing on its back and it breathes fire like a dragon. That's the kind of monster I think of. And honestly, I don't see why Monster Energy Drink Company is doing something this stupid. If you really think about it, like, I think that anybody that has a brain that's higher than a 2 IQ can immediately think, why would Monster Energy Drink do this? This is just honestly stupid and a big waste of time. Now, I do have an article that I want to read to you guys from NintendoSoup.com. I want to read it to you. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this, and I'm going to let you guys know just how honestly ridiculous this is, because this isn't the first time that Monster Energy Drink has filed a trademark suit against gaming companies. Back in 2020, they filed a trademark against Ubisoft because they named one of their games called Gods and Monsters, and Ubisoft called them out saying, oh yeah, well, what about all these other companies and all these other games that have the word monster in it too? But still, they changed it anyway. It's just, you can't just do something like that, Monster Energy Drink. Like, come on now. But I'm going to pull up the article, I'm going to read it to you guys, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this after. The drink brand Monster Energy has been filing a number of trademark lawsuits against gaming companies for using the word monster in their titles. According to a Japanese outlet, Automaton, Monster Energy has filed over 100 complaints against various companies for using the word monster, including the Pokemon games and Capcom's Monster Hunter franchise. Although these companies are consistently denied, the most recently filed complaint was in November 2022, meaning that Monster had continued applying this strategy to protect their brand up until this day. Outside of Japan, the 2020 indie game Dark Deception Monsters and Immortals was also recently targeted in a lawsuit. Monster Energy has gained somewhat of a reputation for copyright trolling in this manner, meaning that they're abusing their rights of owning something. claiming that other companies using the word monster in their title would cause product confusion for their customers. God, I'm sorry for stuttering. Monster Energy presumably prefers to target video game companies, in particular for these trademark disputes, due to its own ties to the industry. So basically, in a nutshell, what Monster Energy is doing here is they're abusing their rights just because they're a massive company and they think that they own the word monster. They think they can go after bigger companies. And what pisses me off the most is they're going after smaller companies like the developers who are making monsters, Dark Deception and Monsters. It just makes me upset because I'm fumbling on my words because of how mad I am. Because indie companies, like smaller companies, like a few people, like five for example, they don't really have the finances or the willpower to handle something like against like a corporation like Monster Energy Drink or like a AAA studio, for example. And the way that I understand this is Monster Energy has been doing this for a very long time, and what makes me just slap my hand on my forehead is just why would there be product confusion if you think about it? Like I said like earlier in the video, like who would get confused with an energy drink over a video game? Like again, you're seeing gameplay of me playing Monster Hunter Rise. When I think of Monster Hunter Rise, I think of the video game. I don't think, wait, is this a video game? Or am I looking at an energy drink product for a Monster Energy drink? Is this a video game or is this an advertisement for a drink? I think that anybody with a brain can clearly see that this is clearly a video game. And the way that Monster Energy drink has been handling this has just been so poor. Like as you saw in the article, they're going to file trademark lawsuits against anyone that uses the word monster or any game that has the word monster or looks like they have monsters in them because it they're afraid that it might hurt their brand or it might confuse people. But again, I think that anybody that has a brain can clearly see when they hear the word monster, I think they immediately think of something like a zombie or they think of something like a vampire here, for example, maybe a skeleton or something. And at the end of the day, if you really think about it, the way that Monster Energy Drink has been filing all these lawsuits, whether it's against smaller indie companies, AAA companies, just in general, they'll go after anyone, even if they use the word monster. Lord knows, like, what happens if I say the word monster? Would the Monster Energy Drink Company come after my butt just because I said the word monster? No. Like I said earlier, like, you can't physically own a word. Like, it's literally impossible, and it's just unethical. Well, not unethical, I'm sorry. It's just illogical and impossible to own a word. Like that's just not going to happen. And if that's seriously the case, then they're going to have to go after every single person in the whole planet for that. And at the end of the day, this is just a big waste of everyone's time and money. That's all this is. Monster Energy Drink should be ashamed of themselves. And like I said, they're just making this a big waste of everybody's time. So, with that being said, thank you guys all for listening. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below. And until next time, you guys, I'm calling out the Monster Energy Drink Company, and I'll see you all later.